Okay, here's the thumbnail. Okay. Should you take an honors course or should you take a regular class? What sport are you gonna do in high school? Are you gonna play all 4 years? Are you gonna play in college? What college are you gonna go to? Are you gonna go to a 4-year university? Gonna go to a community college before? What if you don't make it into that college? What degree are you gonna study? Is this gonna be your career? Who are you gonna marry? How many kids are you gonna have? These questions, our life is literally filled with all these decisions that we need to make. Decision after decision after decision, and sometimes it's overwhelming. Even small decisions, if you should take 5 honors courses or if you should take 6, does it matter? But we look at these questions and I think sometimes we just want to go up to someone and ask them what should we do? And we want a response. And it's kind of like, hey, what does God want me to do with my life? I've gone up to youth pastors, I've gone up to small group leaders before, and I've asked them a decision I had to make. And I feel like the first thing they typically say is well, you should pray about it. And I go, okay. And rather 2 things, rather 1, I don't pray about it because I just want to make a decision, or 2, I pray about it and I go God, can you give me clarity? What should I do? What sport should I play? Or give me clarity, what school should I go to? I'm waiting for this lightning bolt in the sky or this booming voice that's go here. Or goosebumps, that I feel like I did the right thing. And I don't get it. When we're questioning what should we do with our lives? What's God's plan for our lives? And we don't necessarily know. The thing is sometimes there isn't a right or wrong answer. If you decide to do soccer over track in high school, if you decide to go to a community college or go to a 4-year university, there's not one plan that God has for you. I know this is true in my own life as I tried to decide where to work. There was a point where I was offered 2 job positions, one in Northern California and one here in the South Bay. And people ask me all the time, it's hey, Ashley, how did you know that going here in the South Bay was God's plan for your life? And I was because I did it. That's the simplest answer, is because I chose to do that. Now, it doesn't mean that you can make any decision, and if it's unethical or rude or not right, you can't just make terrible decisions and say, oh, it's God's plan. But the choices you make, as long as you are pursuing after Him and seeking after His will, loving people around you and pointing people to Him, God can use you no matter what classes you take, what school to go to, or what sport you play, or any decisions that you may have. Jesus, He talks about this in Matthew chapter 7. He talks about building your house on a rock, and this is what He says. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does like them is like a wise man who builds a house on a rock. When the rain fell and the floods came, the wind blew and bent on that house, but it did not fall because it was founded on the rock. Now here's the crazy thing, is Jesus is saying the foundation that you're building is on me. I'm the foundation. It's not what school you go to. It's not what your family looks like, the relationships you have, your friend circle. But your foundation is Him. So when we go through these crazy times, or we also start thinking, I don't know if I made the right choice, if I did the right thing, if you're going through just a difficult season, He literally warns us that these times will come. But if we're founded in Him, that's all that matters. That's the choices that we need to make. There's gonna be times when we're uncertain about our future. There is. And God, He knows that there's gonna be times that you're sitting here and you're I don't know what to do. But He does make it so clear that He has a plan for us. There's this passage in the Bible, you've probably heard this quoted a million times. It's Jeremiah 29:11. It's hung as art in people's homes, it's tattoos, it's t-shirts, it's everywhere. And God is talking to His people. And they are in this situation where they're under persecution, under someone for a very long time and in exile, and wondering, God, what do I do? What decisions could I possibly have made? Where can I go from here? And this really famous passage, and it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare, not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." Now this passage I feel like we say all the time, and it's still true to us today, that God has a plan for us that's so much beyond our understanding, no matter where you go or what you decide to do. But I want us to look at the next part of the passage. And this part I think is huge. We can't just pick that verse and think, wow, this is our biggest takeaway, that God has a hope for us. But this is what He tells His people. It says in verse 12, "Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." God says, I have a plan for you, but you have to seek after me. You have to call after me. You have to pray to me. And that's what's so important here, is no matter what you choose to do, if it's a really small decision or a big decision and you need wisdom for, remember this, guys, that God has a plan for us, but we have to seek after him and use him as our foundation.